How we doing, people? It's your boy, Mr. John Bonello, and I am joined with my brother from another mother, Mr. Jordan Enzo. Brother, how we doing? How you feeling?
I feel good, buddy.
You look good.
Thank you.
You look all pepped up today.
I mean, I did shower before I got here.
I'm grateful for it. It's a nice surprise.
I shower regularly.
For the people listening out there, yeah.
Better wash those dirty balls.
Oh man.
John,
What's up, brother?
Was that all you got?
What do you mean?
You're not going to do the thing?
What thing?
You know the thing.
What's the thing?
Johnny, you know.
No, man, we can't be doing that anymore.
I think we got it.
No, bro, because every time we do it, people are like, "What was that all? Why are you hyping this up so hard?" I don't think we can do it.
I think we need to do it.
Listen, every time I go, how the fuck we doing, people? It's your boy, Mr. John motherfucking Bonello, and I am joined by my brother, your brother. You don't call him in the morning. He don't call you in the morning, Mr. Jordan Enzo. People always have a problem with that, so I just think we should chill out on that for a little bit.
I guess.
All right, so we have a pretty great episode today. We have a special guest number 2. Last week we had Mr. Star Rising.
Yeah.
This week we have one of our good friends, probably my favorite person ever, Jordan's favorite person ever. I mean, she's family. We love her. Love her to death, and you're going to love her too. Her name is Amie, and she is a rock and roll ambassador. Jordan, are you ready for this, brother?
I'm beyond ready for this. We love Amie. We love Amie, and we're very excited to talk to her, kind of pick her brain about music, and kind of see, you know, where her life took her and how we met her.
Let's do it. Yeah, she's actually texting me right now, so she's ready. You ready, buddy?
Let's go.
Let's jump into this. All right, 1, 2, 3. Whoa!
Hey.
What's up, Amie? It's your 2 favorite guys, John
and Jordan.
What's happening?
It's my 2 favorite guys. How are you?
We're doing great. It's a beautiful day, beautiful day for a conversation. How about you? How has your day been so far?
Lovely. Absolutely lovely here in New Jersey.
Ooh, listen, it's a beautiful day here as well. I just drove to John's house.
We just said that,
Well,
Jordan.
no, she said it's beautiful in New Jersey. I'm just saying it's beautiful in Michigan.
That's great to hear. I'm glad we're all able to enjoy the day.
Yeah, sunny outside. A lot of idiots on the road, though. That's the only sad thing about it.
Jordan was here at crunch time. Jordan was a little late. Literally just got here.
I know.
It's okay. We're right on time. Can't beat that.
That's right. Right on time.
So we have a whole bunch of questions for you today, and I hope you're ready to tell us a whole bunch of awesome stories as well.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get started. So we want to know a little bit about you. How did you get into the music scene? Tell the people, tell the Big Talk Nation, everything about Amie.
Okay. I mean, I guess I would start by saying I always grew up around music. My dad played in cover bands when I was a kid. So I kind of had an interesting upbringing in the fact that my parents divorced when I was really, really young. And my sister and I were primarily raised by my mother, and we would see our father every other weekend. So my mom had this very organic hippie way of raising us where she didn't want us to watch TV. So we really didn't have a television. We didn't have cable. We always had to be outside, constantly stimulated or reading books and that sort of thing. But on the weekends we would go to my dad's house, it was the complete opposite. So it was kind of like a free for all, watch as much MTV as you want and eat all the junk food you want and that sort of thing. So we really did connect through music, being in his home, and he was constantly playing his guitar and constantly singing, and really encouraged my sister and I to do that. Always bought us guitars and microphones and different instruments to try to encourage that. And so it was kind of always there, you know. He just really wanted us to be heavy in the music scene and appreciate music for what it was.
That's amazing. That's your influence right there, your dad. I mean, can't beat that.
Yeah.
Now, do you...
Yeah, No, go ahead.
I was going to ask really quick, you know, if he was buying you guys guitars and microphones, did you guys jam with him as well? Were there any songs that you remember, singing with him, or, did you guys play music together?
That's a great question.
That is a good question. We did not. There's a funny story. My sister and I, we just love being fans. Now, my sister does play the guitar a little. And when I was in high school, I took a guitar class, and my dad was so ecstatic that I was taking this class that he went out and bought me my own electric guitar, and I still have it. It's an Ibanez.
Ooh, classic.
Yeah. So he really encouraged us to play and sing, but we never really got into that. We did not. We used to do this thing when we were little called Play Guns N' Roses, and it was at a time where Guns N' Roses was the biggest band in the world. And so anytime a music video, a Guns N' Roses music video would come on MTV, we would get up and try to act out the members of the band. Like, we would just pretend we were the members of the band. And my sister
member
always
were you?
was Slash.
Oh, your sister was
I had
Slash.
to choose. Yeah, she always got to be Slash. She's 2 years younger, so she would throw a fit if she wasn't Slash. So now I'm going to remind you, like, we're 4 and 6 years old. We're little. We're little at this time. And so she would find something that resembled a top hat to her. It was like a bowl or a pot or a planter or something.
Anything.
And put it on her head and dance around. And I was, bucket. And I was like either Axl or Izzy or Duff. I just would kind of rotate. But
no one wanted to be Adler.
We would.
Just kidding. We're big fans.
I don't remember ever being Adler, but so we would do that, and we loved dancing and just being like on the other receiving end of the music, on the receiving end instead of actually playing music. And I remember when we were doing this one time, I overheard my dad tell my aunt, I feel like I'm raising groupies. Because we never actually wanted to play the instruments. And at the time, I didn't know what that was. And I just ran to my sister and I said, Daddy said we're groupies. And he's like, no, you're not groupies, you're fans. So, and then, of course, 10 years later, I find out what that is. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I really want to do. But we never really got into it. I think he was frustrated by that. I think that he really wanted us to start our own band, and he said, why don't you be like Ann and Nancy Wilson from the band Heart? He always wanted us.
That would have been cool.
And honestly, I don't think that either of us could sing. We weren't raised by the type of parents who are like, go on American Idol, you can sing, and you really suck. He encouraged music, but he didn't say you're the best singer in the world. So, I mean, I knew I wasn't really a performer in that way.
Looks like we're taking you to karaoke one of these days. We'll be the judge of that.
Unless there's a lot of tequila there, you will not get me to sing.
No, we'll bring the tequila. We got a lot of tequila here, so don't you worry. Bottles.
Now, Amie, real quick, I'd like to ask you, we didn't grow up with MTV in its heyday when, MTV was the big thing that you would watch on TV when you would see all the music videos for the first time.
We got Jersey Shore MTV.
We got Teen Mom and just trash TV. But I'd like to ask you, what were some other bands and artists that you guys would look forward to seeing on MTV every week?
I mean, my dad's sister was really big into 80s rock.
Okay.
My dad was more, his influences were, he did like the 80s rock, and George Lynch and Richie Blackmore were his favorite guitarists. So, I was raised with them. But he was really into Southern rock, like Leonard Skinner, Allman Brothers. He liked Deep Purple. He liked a lot of the 70s music were his influences.
A little 38
but
Special?
His sister, yeah, he loved 38 Special. Boston. My aunt, his sister, was really into like the 80s rock stars. So we got a lot of our appreciation for the rockers from her. She would open up, and at the time there were the rock magazines. Like, I think it was like Hit Parade. I was so young, and they'd have like centerfolds. So I had like Slash and Richie Sambora and, all these rockers all over my bedroom walls. And then it transitioned at one point into like, obviously you have the grunge era, but it transitioned into like the boy bands, and I never got into any of that. I stayed with rock and roll time and time again. But, at the time, like all the 80s rock videos that was it, it's where it was. And eventually they did like Headbangers Ball and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Where it got a little heavier, you like Metallica, and that stuff was, I think, played more in the evening hours than during the day. I remember being sick and going to my grandmother's house and having to take like a day off of school and seeing like Billy Idol videos in the middle of the afternoon and watching those,
That's awesome.
It's just such a fun time. It was a time that it was so different, it's like not like that anymore. I miss that aspect of like really appreciating music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think with what we have now with the internet, there's kind of a double-edged sword with that. A lot of people have better access to the music. However, there might be too much music.
Yeah.
And a lot of the good, unsung heroes are getting swept under the rug where nobody can really discover them because there's just so much out there, and not all of them are great.
And another thing is, the times have changed. So rock and roll, heavy metal, it's not really the forefront of music anymore. Pop music, country music, rap music is dominating the charts. And it's sad for us because, that's our music, and we want to see, a renaissance of it, and we want to see it come back and all that. But this opens up, something we wanted to ask you, influences. Who are your favorite bands when you were a kid other than Guns N' Roses? And also we want to know your favorite Guns N' Roses song as well. Who were the bands you were like, you had vinyls of and all the posters and everything? Who were those top bands for you?
It would have been Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi was great. When I was a little kid, and I kind of grew out of Bon Jovi as I got older, but I was part of the Richie Sambora fan club for years.
Oh wow!
He was my favorite out of all the members of the band. Guns N' Roses for sure. Dokken for sure. I can sing Dokken songs in my sleep. Dokken was my dad's favorite 80s rock band, so I just feel like that's kind
awesome.
of in my blood. I love Dokken. Warrant, we listened to Warrant. We listened to, let's see. Poison and Firehouse. Just like anything that came on MTV that was like the big hair bands, were probably as a kid what we listened to the most.
Favorite Guns N' Roses song, like the one that
hands down, Don't Cry.
Ooh,
Don't Cry.
Great song.
Number one.
Great song.
And there are some reasons for that. My sister, she developed Lyme disease that got into her brain later on in life, unfortunately.
Sorry.
And she was about 12 years old when she contracted it, but she didn't get a diagnosis till she was about 25. After she had gone to college and graduated on the dean's list, and she started to have medical problems that nobody knew what was wrong with her. And they thought she had mental illnesses that she never had. She was treated for these illnesses, and she never actually had any of them. And they accidentally tested her for Lyme disease, and it was off the charts. So
that's so sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's a very sad story, but during that time of trying to get her into a better place, she has no long-term memory. She lost all of it.
Wow.
She has no memories of Christmases. She doesn't remember going to school. She doesn't remember any of our childhood memories at all, except for the music.
Oh, that's how powerful
she remembers. She remembers dancing to Guns N' Roses. She remembers listening to certain songs. So, I mean, for me, music is, I understand the importance of it and the power behind it, because to essentially have no childhood memories, but with music, that's how meaningful it can impact someo's life.
Of course.
That's huge.
I mean, you're, to attest to that, you're speaking to two people right now whose whole lives pretty much have been molded by the music that they listen to. I mean, me personally, music is the reason I am who I am today. I've become this person because of what I've listened to.
Yeah, that's a huge part for me too. I mean, I live it, I breathe it, I eat it. It's when I'm sad, I throw on my favorite songs. When I'm happy, I throw on my favorite songs. It's music is, it surrounds me every day, and I don't go a day without listening to it. I don't go an hour without listening to it, to be completely honest. And that's such a beautiful, for music to bring people together, and pretty much Jordan and I's friendship is built off of that. I mean, our love for Kiss, our love for music, Firehouse.
We met at a show, and same thing with you, Amy.
Same thing with you.
We met you at a show as well. I mean,
and now you're part of the family. That's it.
It's music bringing people together.
It's an honor.
You're locked
Absolutely.
in. You can't get away from us.
Now, speaking to how we met through the band Lynch Mob.
Yes.
Now, being a fan of Dokken as a kid, and your dad's favorite band being Dokken, how does it feel now to be surrounded by, that?
Pretty much.
Let me tell you something, okay?
All right.
George Lynch
tell us something.
Tell it to us.
George Lynch was a household name. Like, he was, my dad didn't only admire George Lynch for his guitar playing, but and many people may not know this, George Lynch is a huge humanitarian. He has done so much work in the Native American Indian community to help those people in resources and education and that sort of thing. And he always admired that aspect of him as well. So I grew up knowing that about George Lynch. And when I was about 6 or 7, my dad let me watch Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, which I had absolutely no business watching ever because I was so young, and it was the first time I'd ever seen a horror movie, and I sat there completely paralyzed with fear. Like, I could not move. I was just so horrified. And I had this crocheted blanket over my head that my grandmother had knitted. I'm peeking out through the little holes watching this movie, just completely terrified. And at the end of, this is on VHS, so this is kind of dating me, but at the end of the movie, they play the Dream Warriors video.
Yeah.
And my dad said, Amy, take the blanket off your head. This is where it gets good. So I'm watching this video, and throughout this entire movie, essentially Freddy Krueger cannot be destroyed. Nobody can kill him. Nobody can cripple him. But George Lynch busts through the wall, and he's playing so loud and so fiercely and so powerfully that it cripples Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And I sat there in awe over this. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. When you're young like that, when you're that young, you're like, what is going on here? And I mean, for years, I thought that if there was a monster under my bed or in my closet, George Lynch would bust through the wall with his guitar playing
I mean,
and
you're not wrong.
scare the monster away. So And that sounds so ridiculous.
That's so funny.
It sounds so ridiculous to say out loud now, but like when you're a kid, your heroes in your mind protect you. You know, it's no different than like if a kid loves Batman or Spider-Man.
Have you ever told George this? I'm just wondering.
I did.
Oh my
Tell
God.
him.
Can we get the story? Are we able to get that scoop?
I will tell you how it came about.
Okay.
But so fast forward, you know, and like I said, I thought this for years, probably a good 3 or 4 years until I realized how insane that is. I just thought this man would bust through the bedroom wall and destroy anybody.
I love it. He would totally kick fucking Freddy's ass. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, and it's like, you know, it's your way of like protecting yourself and your mind.
100%.
You know, so years later, I meet Jaron Galino, who's the bass player for Lynch Mob.
Yeah,
and we become friends. And I didn't know who Jaron was when I met him. He was playing with another band called Heaven's Edge.
Yes.
The night that I met him, and they were opening for Skid Row, Firehouse, and Warrant. So Skid Row's another band.
What a lineup! Wow.
Yeah, Skid Row's another band that I absolutely love. Another band that is a big influence of mine. But
what happened to them after?
So I started following him on Instagram, and the very next day he had posted a picture of the guitar that George Lynch played in the Dream Warriors video. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, I know that guitar. So I message him and I'm like, is that George Lynch's guitar from and he's like, yeah, I'm his bass player. And I'm like, are you fucking, can I say that on the,
yes, you can
say whatever you can say anything.
You can say fuck, you can say shit. No,
I said, are you fucking kidding me? Like it was a full circle moment that this guy played bass for George Lynch. I'm like, this is crazy to me, you know? And Jaron is the sweetest, kindest person you'd ever hope to meet. They all are.
We can agree to this.
Yeah.
The coolest dude.
And so he's like, you have to come see us play sometime. And I was like, oh, absolutely. So I was just kind of like, when's Lynch Mob going to be in my area? So like a couple months later, I did go see the band play. And, but that was the crazy moment. And then back in this past February, I was in the green room and George Lynch was he was seeing my face, I think, at every single show. And he finally kind of picked up on it. And I'm in the green room and I was helping Jaron with some merch. And he's like, can you just go in and have the guys sign these items for some fans? And I was like, absolutely. So I went in and George is like, so I understand you come to all of my shows. And I'm like, yep. And he's like, why? Why do you do that?
That's fucking awesome.
And so I told him the story. I was like, well, you know, I told him how my dad was a fan. And I told him how I said, I know this is going to sound completely insane, but when I was like 6 years old, I saw you bust through a wall and like scare. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. But yeah, I said, so you've kind of been in like my personal hero, you know, my entire life. And, you know, when you finally like decades later meet the person that you idolized as a kid, it's really, really surreal. Like you can't even really fathom what's happening. And that first moment of that was back in September when I handed him his birthday cake on stage. And I'm like, I cannot fucking believe I'm giving George Lynch his birthday cake on stage. It's like a kid handing Batman his birthday cake. Like,
how surreal,
you know, 20 years later. It's so crazy, you know? And he doesn't know who I am. So it's like, it doesn't mean anything to him. But I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe. Like when I was 6 years old, I thought this man would bust through a wall to protect me. And I'm giving him a birthday cake decades later. It's crazy.
You know, my favorite part about that is there for like a while I was joined up to George's Patreon, and
yes, I was a member of that too. Yeah.
He told the story about that music video. He said he was so high on cocaine when he busted when he busted through that wall. You can see him right before they cut to a different scene. He's trying not to laugh, and you can see it, and it's so funny. so funny, and I can never unsee it. But that's like probably one of my favorite Dokken songs, maybe one of my favorite music videos of all time.
It's probably the best music video. I can agree to
that movie too. Love that movie. I met quite a few of those actors at a horror convention one time.
Oh, cool.
Super nice people.
We keep talking about going to meet Robert Englund at some point, get some Dream Warrior vinyl signed.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Maybe some posters.
That would be amazing.
I've got the single with like the big claw and shit on it.
The spike hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan has a pretty clean one. It looks like it's never seen the light of day. It's pretty insane to see.
I try to keep it hidden because I know Johnny might swipe it.
No, maybe I will. I don't know.
I only showed it to him one time, and then based on his reaction, I've kept it hidden ever since.
So back to Lynch Mob. So after you got to meet him and he noticed you've been pretty much part of their crew ever since. Tell us about that. If you don't mind.
Yeah. So I had gone to, I want to say 7 or 8 Lynch Mob shows last year.
Which is awesome.
The first one being in February, and then I went to like a few in the summer, and then a couple in the fall, and then they played the last week of December, and I saw those. But they had released a new album, Babylon, back in October.
Yes.
And at that point, I found out, I believe from Jaron, or it was mentioned, how this upcoming year, 2024 to 2025, was going to be his last year before he retires. And I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. This can end, because I was so enjoying going to the shows, and they just had put out this new album, and it was so amazing. And I was like, man, I don't want to miss out, and not only do I not want to miss out, I want to preserve it as much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of made a commitment to myself that I would go to as many shows as I possibly could during their final ride tour. And so
he's also on top of his game right now, and it's so mind-blowing to me that he wants to retire. I'm like, he's killing it. It's so amazing to watch, and every night you're getting a totally different show. I mean, the man just has so much feeling in his hands, and he never plays the song the same way twice, which I love. It's just it's so mind-blowing that like in a year this is going to be over. I'm like, I don't want this to be over.
It is.
I don't want this to be over.
I feel the same way. I mean, I've gotten to know the guys and the band, so well, and they all are magnificent human beings. I can honestly say that. I mean, if I don't speak negatively of people generally, I just wouldn't say anything at all, but they are all truly wonderful people. Each one of them brings something new, something different to the table. So it just creates this amazing dynamic that the 4 of them have. And it's truly spectacular to watch and kind of be a part of, to see them. And it's so sad for me to think about it ending, because it's what they have is very, very special. They truly respect and appreciate each other. And they are just 100% professionals. They are master craftsmen at their art. They're literally the best. They are world-class musicians that are decent, kind, and gracious human beings that bring something unique individually to this dynamic. Mm-hmm. And they all respect each other, and they're able to goof around and have this amazing camaraderie. And it's very sad to think about it not being around anymore. So my goal in all of this is to document as much of their experience as I possibly can, without getting in the way of them delivering the music, which is the most important part. So they've kind of taken me on as like a feral foster pet.
That's fucking awesome.
They've allowed me to just hang around, and and I lay low, and I don't ever want to get in the way or be a hindrance or a burden or anything like that. So I just kind of like do my thing and soak up as much of the music as I possibly can.
And we've seen you in action. I mean, you're pretty much just all over the place, but never in the way. Absolutely, just doing your own thing, filming here, filming there, and it's like, where's Amy? Oh, there she is. Where's she now? There she is. She's been filming over here.
Well, and it's funny too because we saw you like multiple times at like 3 or 4 shows before, like, you know, we ever actually talked to you.
Always wanted to say hi. Didn't want to bother you. I was like, you know, she's doing her own thing. You know, we don't want to bother. We want to say hi, but we don't want to bother her.
We thought.
No, I'm very approachable though. You know.
Yeah. We didn't know like your place in the whole thing, so we were like, we don't want to bother her. Like she's out here doing her thing. Like let her be. We'll do our own thing, and that's kind of how that was. But
at OCC, I did step on your foot by accident.
I don't even remember. I'm so glad. That.
I'm so glad because I felt so bad. I was like, oh no, I crushed your foot.
I have no recollection of that, and I'm pretty much like when I'm at a show, I'm pretty much in the zone. You know, I'm there to document their moments of music and performing, but anything the band needs, you know, I'm always there to lend a helping hand and, you know, assisting the tech and, you know, it's basic stuff. I mean, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm like, you know, grabbing water bottles or whatever, just to make the day go smoother. I just feel like there's so many little things that can interrupt the whole process. And I just want the musicians to focus on delivering their gift, the music. So whenever I can do to, you know, help, you know, that goes smoother. That's what I'm there for. And to, you know, preserve these experiences for the band and for all the fans, you know, to have. So. And
you're building memories for yourself. Now, would you be able to tell us some maybe fun or funny stories that have happened since you've been on tour with them? Like something. If you can't, we totally understand. But I mean, know you got stories.
I have stories. I just, I'm trying to think of something that I mean, they're all funny, but they're very professional. So it's like,
of course,
you know, you see things here and there. That's like, it just makes it funny. But I'm just trying to think of something that stood out that I can talk about that would be, cause I pretty much like, I'm there to offer a helping hand. And then I kind of get out of the way. Like I don't stick around too much, to be in the band's way. And they kind of have a system down, you know, when they're done performing, George and Jimmy, they leave for the most part.
They dip real fast.
They jet.
Straight up, where are they?
Yeah, and then Jaron and Gabriel stay behind. And Jaron's usually wanting to make sure that all the blah, blah, blah. The equipment is secure. That's what I'm trying to say. So he's, you know, helping out with that. And Gabriel, at that point, it's like it's time to drink more Heineken.
Yeah, Gabriel's always got a beer in his hand, 100%.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm like, does the man have Heineken on stage? But John Thayer, their tech, is very good at making sure they have everything they need. So,
shout out to John. We love John,
and shout
John
out to Gabriel.
John is amazing.
We love Gabriel.
He
does need new pants, he told us.
Yes, we're going to start a Kickstarter to get him
new pants.
A GoFundMe to get him new pants. So.
He'll just wear whatever. He wore my purple fringe leather jacket on stage at the February show back in Minnesota.
That's awesome.
And that was funny. I'm like, I can't believe that. We were so for Mr. Scary, he has a break because there are no lyrics. You know, so he can kind of like, he has like a break during that song. And so he had gone back to the green room and I'm giving water and I was like, oh my God, we should switch jackets. I just said it as a joke. And he's like, let's do it. So when he came back out, he's wearing this bright purple fringe jacket. And I think the guys in the band were like, what the fuck is he got
awesome.
on?
We we had a little game for a minute. We played a little game. It was like, what jacket's Gabriel going to wear tonight?
White or black?
White or black?
Well, usually he starts off with black, and after during Mr. Scary, he switches to white. But he has a leather jacket that I tried on. The black leather jacket with the studs is very heavy.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, how do you wear this on stage? It is so, it probably weighs as much as he does. Like, it's so heavy. And so I think he's like, yeah, it's very heavy. And he's been lately wearing a different black jacket that's a little lighter and more easier to move around stage. Yeah, it gets very heavy. So
that's actually the last time we seen him at the machine shop. We told him about the game. We're like, we're always, guessing. Is it going to be white leather jacket or black leather jacket? And then we're telling him, we're like, today you switched it up. You went from black to white. And he was like, I need new jeans. He just said he needs new jeans. I started up telling him, I was like, we're going to start a GoFundMe. Everyone's going to kick in $1. And you just started dying laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was such a good show. One of the best. So what's been your favorite show you've seen so far? Like all the shows that you've attended.
I have to say the Machine Shop is the best venue I've ever been to.
Ooh, okay.
It is. I do. I really love the sound. I found that, and I told Jimmy this. I told him this, I think it was the next day at Starbucks. I said, the sound that I got from the videos from that particular venue translated the best more than any other venue you guys have played in. And when he watched the videos, he's like, you're absolutely right. They did. You can pick up the magnificence of the sounds at the Machine Shop. But traveling around and coming to their shows, I've been to some pretty incredible venues. And just the night before, they were at the Arcata Theater in St. Charles, Illinois. And have you guys been there before?
I have not.
I think
it's amazing.
I've been to the
It's a theater, so it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. It's a really old theater. And when I got there, I had flown in and had gotten a rental car. So when I got there, like the opening bands had already started. And so there's a rock concert going on, but there's a speakeasy upstairs.
Oh, shit.
So you go upstairs in this elevator, and it's like you're going back to like 1925. I kid you not, is the coolest thing. People are dressed up, like the women are dressed up in like flapper dresses. The men have like the newsboys caps on, and this lady singing jazz music. You would not think that there's a rock show going on downstairs. It was like a whole different world up there. And they're eating, and just like there's all the rooms with like Charlie Chaplin old movies playing, the silent movies. It was a crazy thing to see. I was like, oh my God, you would have never thought that right above this rock show is like this whole different world.
Maybe they have crazy. Maybe they have the silent movies so you can hear the show.
I've been to a place
like that. It wasn't quiet. It wasn't quiet because you had the jazz singer. I mean, you had a jazz singer. So they had like a whole jazz band and everything upstairs.
I love jazz. I love jazz. I love the blues. I love all things like that.
Yeah. If you ever go, they actually transported Al Capone's bar that he had into this theater.
Oh, shit.
And preserved it. Yeah.
Like Al Capone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have to check this out then.
So it was a pretty cool venue.
It sounds pretty cool, actually.
So that one was cool. And I mean, there's been, I feel like the shows that stand out to me are the ones where the fans are really wild. I love that. Like I was at the Blue Note in Harrison, Ohio back in July of last year when they played there. And I got there, I got there about an hour before the band arrived, and they weren't going to take the stage until like almost 10 o'clock. And I got there just to kind of scope it out because I'd never been to that venue before. And the fans were so off the charts. Within like 10, 15 minutes of being there, two ladies took off their tops and let me videotape them. being completely naked. Like,
Jordan, we're
from
going
the
to
top
Harrison,
up.
Ohio.
We might need to see that footage.
You know what? We'll be right back.
And I was like, this is crazy. Like,
just go
they
to
were
Ohio.
it's right outside of Cincinnati, but they were just wild and free and just rocking and drunk. And I'm like, you know, this is rock and roll. This is great. Super friendly, super, you know, just fun and having a great time. I loved it.
I love Cincinnati.
I think I told you, and I was like, man, it's great here. Like, the fans are really, really cool and fun.
Michigan ladies.
And that's what stands out the most.
Michigan ladies, take notes.
Take notes, Michigan ladies.
Cincinnati's doing it right.
Cincinnati's beating you right now. I always called Dayton and Cincinnati old Detroit because it feels like the way Detroit used to feel before they, you know, started rebuilding it and doing all this stuff. So I love going back to like Cincinnati and driving through the city. It's so beautiful. It's old school. Yeah, so I could feel that.
I actually have grown to like Ohio. I have a friend that lives there, and I hadn't really been there too many times, and I just thought it was kind of like a country bumpkin kind of place.
No,
but,
not at all.
going there, you know, especially to major cities like Cleveland and Cincinnati and Columbus, and it's really a cool place. I love Ohio. It's really nice, and the fans are really, really fun. They're great.
So many breweries out there. It's wild. I used to do a lot of work out there, so it's just the place, you know, every couple miles there's a brewery. It's pretty crazy. But great city for sure.
Yeah.
So we got some more questions for you.
Sure.
Amie, we want to know, when you're not on the road, what are you doing? Because it seems like you're on the road a lot. However, we'd like to know what you do.
What are your hobbies is what Jordan's trying to get out.
What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? So in other words, what are your hobbies? What does Amie enjoy doing other than rocking out, you know?
You know, that's my number one thing. And I work just enough to be able to do that. I have, I think, a very European mindset when it comes to working. I don't feel like I need to prove anything to anybody as far as, I don't feel like I have to, work the hardest or work the longest hours or any of that. I do those things because the reward is that I am on the road with rock bands.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I do enough. So, if I'm, there are times where they'll have shows Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. I will work 10-hour days, Monday through Thursday. And then I will go. And it's funny because I was having this conversation with, I think, Jaron and Gabriel. And they're like, man, we're so tired. I'm like, yeah, but you get a 4-day break. I'm going back to work for 10-hour days, I'll see you next weekend, but I'm going back to work. So it was just a joking conversation that we had, but that's really what I do. Of course, when they have time off, they have a 2-week period off. So, I don't have to work as long on the days. I can kind of, take a day off here and there, whatever. I watch a lot of true crime or listen to a lot of true crime podcasts.
Okay.
So yeah, I fall asleep to that. And yeah, I do that. I write poetry. That's my artistic release.
Cool. Okay.
And I enjoy cooking and baking, but I haven't done it in so long just because I feel like you really have to be in that mode. To be honest, I don't even really eat that much. I've gotten down to just kind of feeding my body enough to provide fuel for it.
I need to get on that regimen.
Chick-fil-A got a stranglehold on us.
But I am a foodie. I do enjoy really good food. I do enjoy eating where they're really good chefs and that sort of thing. So, but when I'm on the road, sometimes the band members, and this has become a thing, they'll ask me if I've eaten today because they know I'm so adrenaline fueled being on the road with them that I forget to eat. And they're like, Amie, did you eat today? And I'm like, no. And they're like, go eat something, you know.
So that we're gonna throw that in our notes. Always make sure Amie has food. That's gonna be on our list.
Between Jimmy and Jaron, they're kind of like, did you eat? You know, we all kind of look out for each other. You know, especially the four of them. They're very tight. I'm just kind of like show up and this and that, but they're very sweet and kind people. It's just a testament to their character, and they're looking out for everybody around them and making sure that everybody's okay. And they're just very sweet people.
Well, they've embraced you. You know, you're part of their family now, which is a beautiful thing. And
yeah,
you can't beat that, honestly. I mean, you went from, you know, George Lynch protecting you as a kid from Freddy Krueger to now being around the guy. I mean, that is what dreams are made of. I mean,
now they're protecting you from being hungry.
Yeah. the Hunger Warriors.
I'm the hunger.
I'm the hunger.
It's true. It's true. I mean,
hello, Mr. Dream Warrior, Mr. Chainbreaker, Mr. Scary.
Oh my God,
it is.
Awesome.
It's fun. It's fun though. Yeah, they're amazing people. They're great.
Okay. I got another question for you. I'm super excited about this one. Actually, it's a few questions. Favorite Dawkins song, favorite Lynch Mob song. Yeah.
Oh man, this is hard. So obviously I have to say.
Sorry, Jordan's a little sick in the house. I was thinking I wasn't going to say it.
It's hard to say with Dawkins just because, well, the Dream Warriors obviously has huge significance for me, you know, so because it was a song that like I relate back to childhood, but then I grew up singing songs like Lightning Strikes Again and Alone and The Hunter, and those are all like just staples for me, you know. My favorite Lynch Mob song used to be Hell Child.
Oh, great song.
Great song.
But their new album is killer. Have you guys gotten a chance to listen to it?
Yes.
I have, yes.
I have. It fucking rocks.
So like
we threw it on actually on our road trip home.
Oh, good. Yeah. My favorite song on that album is How You Fall.
Okay.
And it's number 5 on the CD, and it is such an anthem. I mean, when I heard it, I was like, this song is so heavy. But it's heavy in like a meaningful way. Like it's not just a bunch of noise. It's there's a lot of sustenance to it. And there are these lines, the lines in the chorus are like, I've seen you before. I know who you are. It's how you live and how you fall. So it's like you can pretend to be anybody you want to be, but ultimately, like how you carry out your life is the testament to who you really are. And I think that in this day and age, that speaks so loudly, you know, it speaks volumes of like, hide behind whatever filter you want to hide behind whatever facade, whatever you think that you're doing to fool everybody. But we see how you're living your life. And if you're living in a way that doesn't match what you're proclaiming, there's a problem.
Yes.
You know, and that's ultimately going to be your demise. How you live, it's how you fall. And when they've only played that on stage once, and I lost my mind. I was like, oh my God. I think you guys were there. It was the first Florida. No, it wasn't
Pompano,
the Florida
maybe?
show. It was the first. It was the first California show. I'm sorry. It was the first California show. So we were in the green room prior to the show, and I actually had taken a photo of the 4 guys sitting in a circle, kind of discussing the strategy and what they were going to do that night. And it was like a beautiful moment. I'm like, this is great. You guys are all like discussing the strategy for the show. Let me snap a photo. I took a photo of that. and they were talking about like which song to open with, and I said, why aren't you guys playing How You Fall? I mean, it's such a great song. And Jimmy pulled it up right away. He's like, let me hear this. I mean, he pulled it up to listen to his own song. And he's like, why aren't we playing this? It sounds great. So they said, we're going to learn it. They did it at Soundcheck a couple times in Florida. And then it was the first show in California. And I believe that was in the Canyon Club. And it was amazing. It was just, and I keep hoping that they add that back into the set list because it's such a great song.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, we love hearing new songs and deep cuts. I really like The Sinner and Let It Go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love The Sinner.
Love
The Sinner.
Hearing The Sinner live every night was just amazing. It's got it's hard to explain, but like as a guitar player, that you know the opening riff and the tone of the guitar on that song is just
it's fucking crushing. I love it.
Wouldn't that be like a great song for a stripper to dance to?
I
I mean, we can. Any strippers listening to this show, please
send us your demo.
Please send us your demo tapes. Throw it on a VHS. Throw it on, flash drive. Send it our way. A floppy disk.
Disk.
We have all the. Just send it to us. All right.
Now, Amy, what is your favorite song to see them play live every night?
Ooh, that's.
Or are there any songs that maybe you weren't that familiar with that grew on you from seeing it over time?
Well, so I had been asking them to do Lightning Strikes Again, the Dawkins song Lightning Strikes Again, for months and months and months. I'm like, please, I was telling Jaron, please have the guys do Lightning Strikes Again. Like that's because I feel like that's Dawkins' anthem. Like Lynch Mob's anthem is How You Fall, Dawkins' anthem is Lightning Strikes. And at the show back in September, when it was George Lynch's birthday, they opened with that song. And the first time I heard them play it live, I was in heaven. I was like, it doesn't get any better than this. And there are times I will take clips of myself, like video footage of myself singing along, just because I don't ever want to forget that moment and how I felt in that moment. It was so significant for me.
We don't blame you for that at all. I mean, we did the same thing at Kiss, Rock and Roll Night.
I've got a ton of those from Kiss.
Just confetti falling, us singing. It's that feeling you get. It's like,
it takes you back.
Whew. It's a beautiful feeling. I mean, that's amazing. That's cool. Yeah. It's a great song. Lightning Strikes Again.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I love it.
I would if I could, but
I don't want to break anybody's eardrums.
I don't want to stop breathing again. I'm already struggling. So Jordan, what would be your favorite Dawkins song and George Lynch Mob song?
Well, I grew up. The first Dawkins song I ever heard was Breaking the Chains, and that kind of opened like the floodgates to me. And then, being huge into like classic slasher flicks, obviously Dream Warriors was huge to me. But I have taken the hugest liking to Paris is Burning.
Ah, you stole my answer.
Paris is Burning. The version that's on the album, the live version, holy shit. There's just something so electric about that. It's got a stranglehold on me, and I can't. It might be probably going to be my most listened to song this year, and I'm willing to put money on that.
Let's do it.
I agree. It's a powerful song. It is.
I would like us to actually keep tabs on that at the end of the year. I would like to see that. I'm not going to do anything on purpose, but I definitely feel like that will be my most listened to song. As for Lynch Mob, probably River of Love.
Oh, Jordan, are you just stealing all my answers? What's happening?
Probably River of Love, but there's this album called Sacred Groove that George put out in '93, and I don't think that album gets enough love, but there are some songs on that album that are just so sick. just like the Beast, such a
the Beast,
sinister sounding
so
song.
good.
Flesh and Blood.
The Beast is. Can you imagine if they played that live?
It would be the sinister sounding guitars, and then Gabriel just up on stage.
Gabriel could do it.
Growling.
Guaranteed Gabriel could do it. He would crush that, bro.
I know.
100% would crush that.
Amy, have you ever
he's
heard
an
the
amazing
Beast?
vocalist.
Have you?
I probably have.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and listen to it again, though, just to really familiarize myself with it.
We're gonna
It's
send
been
it
a
to you
while.
just so you remember. I mean,
Absolutely. Sure.
it is pure insanity. I love it. Everything about it.
And there's a part 2.
There is a part two.
There's 2 parts, and they're both like 10 minutes long. John, before I forget, I don't want to forget.
What's up, brother?
We need to ask you, what is your favorite Dawkins song, and what is your favorite Lynch Mob song?
I feel like I shouldn't even say it anymore. You already said them. I would.
We'll pick different ones then.
You can't pick different favorites.
You can't lie.
You can't. It's okay to lie sometimes.
Okay, I'll lie. I'll say Breaking the Chains. I mean, it's not really a lie. I love Breaking the Chains. That music video blew my mind as a kid. I was like, that guy is so strong, just breaking those chains to guitar solo.
George Lynch is John's hero because he's stronger than chains.
He's just so strong. He is one of my heroes, and that isn't a lie. I mean, a lot of people go, like, who's the guitar god? Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads. I'm like, George Lynch is the man,
Yeah.
Like, that's my hero right there. One of. So I'll say Breaking the Chains. It's actually Paris is Burning, but Breaking the Chains, and then River of Love is the song, but I'll say Wicked Sensation. I would say that. Yeah, but
that's great.
River of Love, there's something about that song just gets me so hyped, and it just makes you want to dance and lose your mind, and it's so freaking soulful. I'm just getting hyped just thinking about when those guys kick into that song. It's like all hell is breaking loose, and they're just fucking in it. I can't explain it. It's like a rush, complete rush. Mm-hmm. And you get to see it almost every night.
So amazing. Yeah, that's what's so amazing about the 4 of them is that they're such good musicians that they bring out the best in all of these songs. They really do. I mean, you can have a song, and I'm very, very protective over the Dawkins songs, and like if somebody fucks up a song and I hear it, I get very upset. Like, I'm like, man, why are they doing that and thinking they have the right to sing that song? Because I don't want to hear it sung by anyone other than Gabriel. Like I get very, very protective of them and their music and everything. So it's sometimes hard for me.
I got to hop in here for a second. I got to say, I've been a massive Lynch Mob fan pretty much my whole life. This is the best lineup ever for me. Yeah. I don't know if it's because I've got to meet the guys and they've been so sweet to us, but there's just something about this lineup that's just so magical. Yeah. I feel like if it is going to end, I'm happy this is the lineup that it goes out with.
I think.
Yeah, me too.
All I know is that I'm not going to be caught singing any Dawkins or Lynch Mob around Amy because she's going to kick my ass.
She's going to slash your throat. She's going to sing. She's going to slash your throat straight up. You're going to have to call Mr. Dog. Mr. Chainbreaker.
Yeah,
this chick's trying to kill me.
Stop the show. This kid needs to shut the fuck up.
Sometimes when you have a band that's like one person, maybe they're not as good as the others.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see where there's like a break. And that's not the case here. Like Jimmy's the best drummer. And of course, George Lynch is the legendary guitar player. And Gabriel can hit every single high note there is. And Jaron brings all the heat and fire as a bass player. Mm-hmm. There's nothing missing. There's nothing lacking. There's no void.
Jaron is an amazing bass player. He's on fire every night, giving it his all, just kicking ass laying down the grooves. And, you know, we didn't know too much about Gabriel. You know, the first time we were kind of like, okay, let's check this out, you know? And by the end of the show, we were freaking believers. We were like, holy shit, we love this guy. That is our singer right there. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that his personality is very silly and goofy and sensitive.
Say that again.
He's very silly and like just adorable. You know, he's like a little puppy. Like but he has the pipes to like fucking bring it. And I don't think that, like, when you know his personality, you would think that he's like this magnificent vocalist, and he really is. You know, it's crazy how he gets on stage and just delivers. I mean, fucking delivers. I think that there are bands that they've played with that have been intimidated by Gabriel's playing because he really delivers.
I think that makes his personality, that he's this goofy, funny guy, very sweet dude. We'll hang out with the fans, talk to them, and just make jokes and all that. And then he goes up there and he's a fucking rock legend. He's a fucking rock star, fucking killing it.
Yeah.
I love his stage banter.
Such a sweetheart. Yeah.
I love his stage banter. Sometimes he just says the silliest stuff up there, and I'm like that. You know, and it kind of breaks up you know, the monotony of the show, I bet. You know, every night, you know.
George loves it. He makes George laugh almost every night we've got to see him. He's made George laugh. He's just like, what are you doing over there? And I think that makes George have more fun on stage too. Cause he's like, these are my boys. I love these guys. And they're all just like a big family on stage. I love that.
Yeah.
And he's been through a lot of singers too.
Too many.
I listen, even in the past few years, a lot of singers. And I think it's nice that he's got Gabriel, because Gabriel is a full package. I believe so.
One of the
talking about Gabriel's package?
Maybe that's why he needs new jeans. Oh no!
Oh God, Jordan, what are you saying? Sorry, Amy.
It's okay. I'll let that slide. But no, what I was saying is that they're very, very loyal to each other. And that, I think that means something, you know, when you have people that are willing to have your back in every situation. And, you know, they really do. They're there for each other, and they're so loyal, and they're very protective of each other. And I really appreciate that, admire that about them.
Yeah.
One big family. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
You know, one thing I'd like to mention too is that every now and again they'll deviate from the set list and just jam. They'll just jam. And I love that. Even George has said it multiple times. He loves when they can just start a groove and let loose for a little bit and just play whatever comes to mind. And I love that. They did that down at OCC Roadhouse, and I loved that.
Oh, they did so much. That show was probably my favorite ever. OCC Roadhouse, when they started playing Ain't Talking About Love. I mean,
that was good.
Huge surprise.
Manic Depression by freaking Jimi Hendrix. Like, they were just on fire that night. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. Honest to God, never seen anything like that.
Great show.
That comes with trusting your bandmates. You know, that you can deviate from this set list and know that everyone's going to pick up the piece. If somebody misses something, you know, the other person's going to be right there backing that person up. And that gives them the ability to do that. You know, they're not just, and it also speaks to their character of what's really important to them. They're not just there to be like, okay, let's do 7 songs so we can get our paycheck and leave. They're there to perform music.
Yes.
They're doing it for the right reasons, and it shows, and all of them are. And it shows, and that's brought out, and it translates into good energy that the fans pick up on.
100%. Now we're gonna jump off Lynch Mob for a second.
Okay.
We want to know a little bit about Skid Row with you. You said Skid Row is one of your favorite bands.
Yeah.
Give us the rundown on that.
I mean, I always heard songs like Youth Gone Wild, which is my favorite Skid Row song. And and 18 in Life. I thought that Skid Row really brought like a grittiness and like really raw feeling to the whole 80s hair band vibe. You know, I mean, Guns N' Roses did that too, but it was like Skid Row just had like this street feeling that it was like, it wasn't so much about sex and that sort of thing as it was about just like survival.
Monkey business.
And I think that, yeah, like I think that when you're like, when you've experienced a certain amount of trauma in your life or whatever, you relate to people who have as well. And when you hear songs that there's like that survival instinct vibe to it, it resonates, you know, and that's always kind of like what I've gotten from Skid Row is just that really raw, like just filthy vibe that I love.
So what's your take on all the singers they've had? I mean, are you still a fan through and through, or are you still pulling for a Sebastian Bach reunion sooner or later?
I didn't. Okay, so it's been Sebastian Bach. To be honest, I didn't really give merit to any of their other singers until their most recent one, which is Eric Grunwald. Mm-hmm. He's a Swedish guy that used to play in the band Heat.
I love
Heat. I saw them perform twice with him, and I really thought he did an amazing job. You know, he just recently quit the band. And I think they have Izzy Hale now filling in for Skid Row. But I loved Eric Grunwald. I really did. I think that he really did the band justice as far as the singer.
He had so much hype behind him. I was so surprised for that like news. I mean, well, what do you think is going to happen next? Do you think we're going to get a Sebastian Bach reunion, or do you think that's...
I don't know. I don't... You know, you never say never, because who would have thought that, like, Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses would get back together with, you know, Slash. They always said it's never going to happen, you know. So I don't, you know, it's rock and roll, and I think anything can happen. I don't know if they will or not. I mean, if they did, that would be great. And, you know, I think that the fact that they're keeping the music going is the most important thing. So however they have to do that to keep it going is what they have to do, you know? So that's where I am with it.
Now, is there anybody in the scene that you think could fill those shoes? Is there anybody that you would like to see fill those shoes?
And fill Sebastian Bach's shoes?
Yes.
For Skid Row?
For
like
Skid
the next
Row.
Singer?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so picky when it comes to this. I kind of have to. I'm big on energy, so like I'd have to see them play together and be like, yeah, this is something I either I'm a fan of, or it's not going to work for me, you know. Because I think that it's so much more than like just being able to like deliver the notes. I think it's like the band has to have a certain amount of like chemistry between them to make it work. And I think that I don't think that Skid Row with Eric Grunwald had the energy that Lynch Mob has currently.
Okay.
But I think that it was enough to deliver a great show. I think that they were all, you know, brought their A game on stage. And I do think that with Skid Row, there is a little bit of a void there. It's almost like, you know, certain bands will say, this is the band, you know, and so, like, I think Bret Michaels once said, like, Poison is Cece, me, Bobby, you know, like he went through like the list of like, that's Poison.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter who comes in and tries to like fill that spot temporarily for a little while. And I think, I mean, this is just my perspective from the outside in, because I don't know any of the Skid Row guys. I don't know them personally, but it looks like from the stage that they hired Eric Grunwald to do a job, and he did an amazing job at it. But I don't know that he's necessarily Skid Row, you know, like he's not the face of Skid Row. He's certainly not, the person that you think of when you think of Skid Row.
I think he's the closest thing they've had in a long time, to be honest, since Sebastian
It is
Bach.
the closest thing, and I'm a huge fan of his. Like, I'm a personal fan of Eric Grunwald. I think he is an amazing person, and he's conquered a lot in his life, and he did a fantastic job as a singer. But I'm saying, like, from the band's perspective, I don't know if, like, to them, like, that was Skid Row, you know? So that's just a vibe I got. But their shows were incredible, and I enjoyed them immensely.
And that's all that matters. Now we are coming up here on hour 20. We got so much more to talk about. Probably on our next episode with you. Whenever that happens, whenever our schedules can align. Now, if you had one message to the Big Talk Nation, you know, you are now part of the Big Talk family. What would that message be to everybody? Everybody who wants to go follow their dreams like you know?
Here's the thing. It's not hard. Okay. People get into this mindset where, and a lot of it is like your upbringing, where it's like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. Just go do it. And it really comes down to your priorities. You know, like, I don't make a huge amount of money, but I sacrifice in other areas to do what I really want to do. And I think that when it comes down to it, if you can get out of your comfort zone to where, like, you don't have to define yourself by any certain things, that alleviates you having to buy into this lie that you have to own a house by a certain age and you have to drive a certain car, and that's all nonsense, and nobody will remember it when you're old and gray and dying. You just go live your life on your own terms.
I love that. I love everything about that.
And that essentially is what rock and roll is.
Yes.
Rock and roll is about freedom. Rock and roll is about going against the grain and doing what you want to do and living your life the way you want to live your life. And fuck anybody who says you're doing it wrong.
Yes. That's fucking awesome. And we'll take those words, you know, take them to heart. And I love that you said all that. And it took me a long time to learn that. I actually learned that from my buddy right next to me, Jordan.
Your buddy has a problem. Listen. Yep. As long as my bills are paid, I just go do whatever. When I was growing up, like, you know, my there was always a roof over my head. There was always food on the table. I always had clean clothes. However, like, you know, my parents instilled in me from a young age that if I wanted something, I don't just get it for free. I had to work for it, right? I had to do chores. I had to go do yard work. This or that or the other. And then, you know, they would help me out. So, you know, from a very young age, all I've known is, you know, work hard and, you know, you'll be able to do the things that you want to do. And as an adult, that is what I've done. You know, for the longest time, I have saved zero money. However,
you're living your dreams.
I am living proof that if you want to do it, you can do it. You just have to make sacrifices.
Absolutely.
Now,
I mean, I agree 100%.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you know, I put off living this dream and getting to see all my favorite bands. And Jordan kind of, you know, he's seen that and he was like, you know what? Johnny loves all the same stuff I love. That's pretty much what he said, you know?
Yeah,
and he's like,
true though.
He's like, you're worried about this, you know, my family, we've always owned businesses, and I've always been, you know, pretty much wrapped up in that. But he's like, you know, we have this one life. He's like, we might never get to see Kiss again. He's like, you have to come. And that just like set a whole thing, like lit a fire for me. And then we started seeing all of our favorite bands, and I started going out of my comfort zone, and we started the show, and we started, you know, filming things and doing these interviews. And it's been, honestly, I'm living my dream because of my buddy, and we're getting to meet great people such as yourself, Amy, and I'm having the time of my life. Honestly, this is one of my favorite conversations. We've loved having you. Can't wait to have you back again. We can't wait to see you again. Can't wait to see Lynch Mob.
It's going to be so much fun. Yeah, I mean, to briefly just touch on what you guys just said, I agree 100%. You know, I I was raised by a single mother in low-income housing till I was about 12 years old. We were so poor. My mom never told us we were poor. She never allowed us to know that. Even though she wasn't trying to hide it, she kind of instilled in us, like, you never have to be victims of your circumstances, no matter what they are at the moment. This will pass. So we never, like, grew up with the mentality, like, we're less than, we're poor. And it was funny because at Christmas time, we would donate to a family in need, and we could have been on the receiving end of that. Like, looking back, we would have qualified for that type of help. But she wanted us to always, she put us in etiquette classes. She wanted us to always be comfortable in any situation. So she's like, I don't care how much money you have. I want you to be able to have lunch with a janitor or a diplomat, regardless.
That speaks volumes to, who she is and how amazing and the, how amazing the kids she raised are. So, I mean, hats off.
As long as you can always think outside of the box and you're not defined by anything, you're going to live your dream.
Yes.
It's that whole mentality of, like, society putting the pressure on people that causes them to be miserable and them buying into that lie of having to do it.
Amazing words to live by, honestly.
I agree.
Amy, we've appreciated having you, and we can't wait to do it again.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor. Thank you for having me. I've so enjoyed this time with you guys. How can the people find you? Let them know really quick. Okay, so I do everything through my Instagram. It's at Amie'S Music Machine. Amie is spelled Amie. And then I'm also on TikTok. I've uploaded a lot of the videos. I'm so far behind on this, but A Girl with a Groupie Heart is my TikTok handle. So you can find me on either one of those. I kind of save Facebook for family and friends back home because I live so far away from everybody. That's kind of like just a personal thing. I'm never really on there. It's just a way from, like, my cousins and aunts and uncles to get a hold of me. But other than that, everything is good. Yeah. Go follow her or we'll kick your asses. All right, Amie. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out. I love you guys too. Have a great day. Thank you, Amie. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Okay, bye. All right, everybody. That was Amie. One of my favorite conversations we've had. Absolutely. Without a doubt, one of my favorite people too. We've met a lot of great people through our, networking at shows and just, just meeting people and talking to people. And honestly, Amie is one of my favorites. She's one of those people that really understands, like, what Big Talk is all about and what we are trying to do. And, one of our, what am I trying to say here? So what he's trying to say is that Amie, I had it, as soon as we met Amie, she took us in almost like we're family. The biggest hug, real deal hug, like embraced us. And she is the sweetest person ever. And she'll kick your ass. So don't get it twisted. She is amazing. She is so dedicated to the music scene. And these are the people we want to meet. You know why? Because these are the people that are going to keep it alive. Our favorite bands are literally on their farewell tours. We don't have much longer to see them. These are the people who are going to talk about what happened, who were there, who are going to document it. So you got to go follow Amie. She's the best. She's our favorite person. And honestly, listen, take it from us. Take it from us. We know cool. We're cool. She's cool. Absolutely. Very all right. Cool. So I'm John. And I'm Jordan. This is Wanted. And this is off the album Late Attraction. Our boys, this song is called Breaking Till Dawn. Until next time, my friends. Rock and roll, baby.